Chosen one, why are your hands trembling right now? Why does your chest feel like something ancient just woke up inside it? Why did you really click on this video at 2:47 inches? The morning when you should be sleeping, when everyone in your house is sleeping, but you can't sleep because something keeps pulling at your spirit like an invisible thread tied to eternity itself. You didn't stumble here. You were intercepted. Let me tell you something that's going to shake every comfortable lie you've been telling yourself. Heaven doesn't use algorithms. Heaven uses summons. And if your eyes are reading these words right now, if your heart is beating faster than it was 60 seconds ago, if there's a strange weight pressing on your chest that feels like recognition and terror and relief all at once, that's not anxiety. That's confirmation. You think you found this video, but beloved, this video found you. The scrolls of heaven had your name written on them before you were born, and tonight, this very night, the divine appointment you've been running from your entire life just caught up with you in your living room. I need to pause here and thank every single one of you who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and sow that seed of faith into what God is birthing right now. But listen to me carefully, chosen one. That strange sensation in your palms? Look at them. Right now, look at the center of your left hand. Do you see it? That faint M shape traced in the lines of your skin. You've noticed it before, haven't you? Dismissed it, ignored it, but deep down, you've always known yours was different. You've caught yourself staring at it in those midnight hours when you can't sleep, and your mind won't stop asking, why am I different? That's not a birthmark, beloved. That's a brand. Heaven marked you before the enemy could claim you, and only the chosen ones carry this visible sign of their invisible calling. If your eyes are watering right now, comment 99 immediately. That's heaven marking attendance. That's your spirit recognizing what your mind has been too afraid to believe. The very thing you've been desperate for, the authority, the anointing, the divine acceleration that will make up for every lost year, it's already in your possession. You just haven't known how to activate it. Ignore this moment, and the doors heaven opened tonight will close. But recognize it, claim it, step into it with trembling faith, and beloved, your entire life unfolds like a scroll that's been sealed for 70 years. You didn't scroll here. You were summoned, and the angels of heaven are holding their breath to see what you're going to do with this sacred moment. This is your summons, chosen one. Now the only question that matters is this. Are you finally ready to stop pretending you're ordinary when heaven has been screaming that you're marked? Have you ever looked at your hands and felt like they were hiding something from you? Have you ever wondered why certain moments make your palms burn with unexplainable heat? Have you ever sensed that your body carries secrets your mind hasn't decoded yet? Right now, I need you to stop everything. Put your hands together. Press your palms flat against each other like you're about to pray. Now look down. Look at the center where your lifelines meet. Do you see it? That faint formation in the creases of your skin that looks like the letter M. Don't look away. Don't dismiss this as coincidence, because what I'm about to tell you will explain why you've felt marked your entire life, even when no one else could see it. That M isn't random biology, beloved. It's heaven's fingerprint pressed into your flesh before you took your first breath. While your mother was choosing your name, God was already writing his signature into the DNA of your destiny. You've been carrying proof of your calling in the palms of your hands for 70, 80, 90 years, and you didn't even know it. Listen to what Isaiah 49:16 declares with absolute authority. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Not written, not typed, not sketched, engraved, carved deep, permanent, unchangeable. The God of the universe has your name tattooed on his hands, and he left his mark on yours as a covenant reminder. But here's what's going to shake you to your core. That M doesn't just stand for one thing. It's a trinity of divine promises carved into your skin. It stands for miracle, because your very existence defies the odds. It stands for manifestation, because what you speak into the atmosphere actually materializes in the natural realm. And it stands for mastery, because you were designed to have dominion, not just survive. Every line in that mark represents a promise God made over your life. Every wrinkle, every crease, every tiny detail is a record of prayers that have been heard, tears that have been collected, battles that have been won in realms you've never seen. Your hands aren't just tools for work, they're scrolls, sacred documents written in flesh, carrying the terms of your covenant with the Almighty. But what if, and stay with me here, what if this mark wasn't just to remind you of God? What if it was God's way of reminding himself of you? What if every time he looks at his own hands, scarred by nails driven through Calvary's wood, he sees your name and whispers, I remember my promise to them. You thought you were invisible. You thought your prayers bounced off the ceiling. You thought God forgot about you in your old age. But beloved, you are literally engraved into the palms of the Creator of heaven and earth. How dare the enemy convince you that you're forgotten when you're permanently inscribed in divine flesh? God does not mark what he will not use. Let that sink deep into the marrow of your bones. He doesn't waste time branding things he plans to discard. He doesn't engrave names on vessels he intends to shelve. If you carry this mark, if your hands bear this covenant sign, then your assignment is still active, your calling is still valid, and your season is far from over. But I need to tell you something urgent. Within the next 72 hours, something is going to activate in your spirit that has been dormant for decades. That mark on your hands is about to transition from being a passive reminder to becoming an active weapon. What's been sleeping is about to wake up. What's been hidden is about to be revealed. The question isn't whether you're marked. You are. The question is, are you finally ready to acknowledge what heaven already wrote? Because the moment you stop dismissing this as mere anatomy and start declaring this as divine appointment, everything shifts. If you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever wondered if God really sees you, if you've spent years thinking your best days were behind you, comment, I'm marked right now. Let heaven see you acknowledge what it already carved into your skin before time began. This isn't just a comment. This is your agreement with destiny. This is you finally saying yes to the assignment your hands have been carrying all along. What you do in the next 72 hours will determine whether this revelation becomes your reality or just another message you heard and forgot. Heaven is holding its breath. The mark is waiting, and your destiny is about to explode into manifestation. You've wondered why it's always harder for you, haven't you? Why you give more than everyone else but receive less. Why you pray longer but wait longer. Why you do everything right, but somehow life keeps hitting you from angles you never saw coming. You watch other people coast through life with half your faith, half your effort, half your devotion, and they're blessed. Meanwhile, you're bleeding. Let me tell you something that's going to shake you awake. This wasn't bad luck. This wasn't coincidence. This was warfare. You've been marked since birth, beloved, and hell has known it too. The reason your life hit harder is because you're carrying something the enemy can't afford to let activate. Every attack, every betrayal, every season that stripped you down to nothing, it wasn't random violence, it was strategic assault. Hell doesn't waste ammunition on empty vessels. The devil doesn't send his best demons after powerless people. He reserves his most vicious attacks for those carrying the most oil. Think about Job. This man was so righteous that God himself bragged about him. Job 1-8 says, "There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright. And what happened? Everything was ripped away. His wealth, his children, his health. His wife told him to curse God and die. But here's the truth that will wreck you. Hell wasn't trying to destroy Job. Hell was trying to stop what God was building through the crushing. Because oil only flows where crushing has occurred. Look at Joseph, 17 years old, carrying dreams of greatness, only to be thrown in a pit by his own brothers. Sold into slavery, falsely accused, forgotten in prison. 13 years of injustice. 13 years watching the sun rise and set on stone walls, wondering if God made a mistake. But Genesis 50:20 reveals the secret. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Every betrayal was positioning him. Every attack was training him. Every dark night was carving out capacity for the palace he couldn't see yet. Moses, 40 years in the wilderness, tending sheep before God called him to lead a nation. 40 years, the world would have called him washed up, finished, past his prime. But God was developing the patience and humility he'd need to handle 2 million complaining Israelites. Exodus kept him hidden until he was dangerous. You've survived what would have broken others. You've kept your heart soft when it should have turned to stone. You've held on to faith when logic screamed to let go. That's not normal, chosen one. That's supernatural. That's the evidence of something rare being refined inside you through fire. Your tears weren't waste. They were ink. Heaven was writing your authority in them. Every sleepless night when you cried out to God and the sky stayed silent, you weren't being ignored. You were being entrusted. God gives his hardest assignments to those he trusts most. While others got comfort, you got crucible training. While they received ease, you received equipment forged in flames they'll never understand. The warfare around your edges wasn't trying to destroy you. It was revealing you, stripping away everything false until only the pure gold of who God created you to be remained. Right now, can you feel it? That recognition stirring in your chest. That's your spirit remembering what it knew before the world convinced you that pain was punishment. You're not broken. You're not cursed. You're not forgotten. You're qualified. If you've cried in silence and felt unseen, if you've wondered why God trusted you with this much weight, type, I still believe right now. Let heaven mark your attendance. Let the angels of God witness that after everything hell threw at you, you're still standing, you're still believing, you're still here. Because survival wasn't an accident. Survival was the sign. And what's about to be released through your scars will shake nations and liberate captives who've been waiting for someone exactly like you, someone who knows how to bleed and still worship. The war didn't break you. It made you. And now, heaven is about to show you what you were made for. You thought your life was chaos, random, a series of unfortunate accidents strung together by bad luck and worse timing. But what if I told you that every single detour, every delay, every disappointment was actually data coordinates being logged into heaven's algorithm? Look at your left palm again, that M mark you've been staring at for years, wondering if it meant anything. Beloved, it's not decoration, it's direction. It's heaven's GPS system etched into your biology, guiding you through valleys you didn't understand, protecting you from shortcuts that would have destroyed you. Every wrong turn you made, God was rerouting you. Every door that slammed in your face, heaven was saving you from a dead end. Every person who walked away, the algorithm removed them because they weren't coded for your destination. You are not lost, you are logged. Heaven has been tracking your faithfulness, not your failures, recording your tears, not your mistakes, cataloging every moment you chose faith when logic screamed to quit. Psalm 139 says it like this: You knit me together in my mother's womb. But the Hebrew word for knit means woven with purpose. God didn't randomly throw you together. He wrote code into your DNA before your first breath, divine intelligence embedded in your cells, spiritual software programmed into your soul. That restlessness you feel at 3 a.m., that's not insomnia. That's your spirit recognizing its coordinates are about to shift. Your internal GPS is recalibrating because you're approaching the destination you've been circling for decades. Here's what's going to shake you. For those who recognize this mark, who acknowledge this code, the next 72 hours will unlock supernatural rearrangements. Doors that were welded shut will swing open. Relationships that seemed impossible will align. Resources that were frozen will suddenly flow, but few will feel it. Not because God is selective, but because few will act on it. They'll read this, feel the stirring, then go back to their comfortable cage of doubt. They'll dismiss it as emotion, explain it away as coincidence, rationalize why it couldn't possibly be real. Will you? Or will you finally understand that your delays were divine downloads? That your detours were actually coordinates mapping out a path nobody else could walk? That everything you survived wasn't punishment, it was programming you for authority that terrifies demons? You are not wandering. You are being tracked, not by a distant deity who judges your failures, but by a Father who's been protecting every step, redirecting every mistake, turning every mess into a message. That M on your palm, it stands for marked, for mission, for mine. Heaven branded you before hell could claim you. And tonight, the code you've been carrying your whole life is about to execute its final command. Activate. Write in the comments, I carry the code. Let it echo in heaven's database. Let the algorithm register that you're ready, because what happens in the next 72 hours will prove that you were never broken, you were being built. You've been staring at mirrors your whole life, getting dressed, fixing your hair, checking your appearance before heading out the door, but you've never really looked, have you? Because that mirror, it's not just glass reflecting your image, it's a prophecy staring back at you. God put a sign in your hand 70 years ago, and you've been carrying it every single day without knowing what it meant. You've asked heaven for burning bushes, for pillars of fire, for voices from clouds. But beloved, God already answered. He carved his signature into your flesh before you took your first breath. Look at your palm again. That M isn't random biology, it's divine branding. Moses had a staff, just a piece of wood from the desert floor. Nothing special, nothing sacred. Until God told him in Exodus 4:2, "What is that in your hand?" And that ordinary stick became the rod that split seas, summoned water from rocks, and brought nations to their knees. David had a sling, a shepherd boy's tool for chasing off predators. 5 smooth stones from a creek bed, nothing extraordinary. Until 1 Samuel 17:49 tells us that stones sank into Goliath's forehead and brought down the giant that terrified an entire army. What did they have in common? They used what was already in their hands. You've been praying for signs while God keeps whispering, "Look at what I already gave you." That mark on your palm isn't decoration, it's activation, it's your staff, it's your stone. It's the physical evidence that you were marked before the enemy could mark you. The mirror is showing you what heaven has always seen. You are the painting and the brush. You're not just the vessel. You're the very tool God is using to create miracles in real time. Touch your chest right now. Feel that rhythm, that steady beat pounding against your ribcage. That's the same frequency heaven used to carve your mark. Your heartbeat isn't biological coincidence. It's divine Morse code, pulsing out your assignment with every breath you take. Here's what nobody told you about mirrors. The reflection is God disguised as you. Genesis 1:27 says you were made in his image, not as a copy, as a carrier. Every time you look at yourself, you're looking at the face God chose to wear in your neighborhood, in your family, in this exact moment in history. But knowing this changes nothing if you never use it. Jesus understood this power. In Mark 6-5, he laid his hands on the sick and healed them. Not his voice, not his prayers, his hands. The same hands that held hammers in a carpenter's shop suddenly carried the voltage of heaven itself. What changed? He recognized what was in his hands. When you recognize the sign, the unseen begins to obey you. Sickness recognizes authority. Depression recognizes power. Generational curses recognize the mark of the one who already defeated them at Calvary. You're not too old. You're too anointed to keep hiding. Lift your hand toward the screen right now. Don't question it. Don't hesitate. Just lift it. Let that M face heaven and say these words out loud. Use me, Lord. I carry the mark. I'm ready to be your staff, your stone, your instrument of impossible things. The mirror just became a portal. And you're about to discover what happens when chosen ones finally pick up what God placed in their hands. Now listen to me very carefully, chosen one. What I'm about to tell you will separate those who simply watched this video from those who were marked by it. In the next 72 hours, not 73, not next week, not someday, heaven is going to confirm what your spirit already knows. 72 hours. 3 days. The same amount of time Jesus spent in the tomb before resurrection power exploded through death itself. Do you think that's coincidence? Nothing with God is coincidence. Everything is covenant. Within the next 72 hours, those who truly recognize the mark tonight will witness divine interference in ways that will leave you breathless. I'm not talking about warm feelings or nice thoughts. I'm talking about phone calls from people who haven't spoken to you in years. Dreams so vivid you'll wake up with tears streaming down your face, knowing you just received instructions from the throne room. Confirmations so specific, so impossible to explain away, that you'll have no choice but to surrender to what God is doing. But here's what you need to understand. These 72 hours are not passive. This is not a time to sit back and wait for magic to happen. This is your celestial appointment, and heaven is already aligning the winds in your favor. The tide is rising. Can you feel it? Let me tell you what happened to Cornelius in Acts chapter 10. About 3 in the afternoon he had a vision. He distinctly saw an angel of God. 3 days later, everything in his life changed forever. His household, his destiny, his eternal purpose, all transformed because he responded to a divine appointment within God's timeline. You have 72 hours to prove you're serious about this marking. Here's what you're going to do, and I need you to do this with trembling faith and holy expectation. First, write it down. Tonight, before you sleep, take a piece of paper and write these words. Within 72 hours, I will see proof that heaven heard me tonight. Sign it, date it. This is your covenant with the Almighty. Second, watch for the signs. They're coming, beloved. You're going to feel warmth spreading through those very palms that carry the M. It might happen while you're washing dishes. It might happen during your morning coffee. When it does, don't dismiss it. That's heaven confirming your marking. Your dreams over the next 3 nights will be different, prophetic, full of color and clarity, and messages that your natural mind couldn't manufacture. Keep a notebook by your bed. The moment you wake before the enemy steals the download, write down what you saw, what you heard, what you felt. And sudden clarity. Oh, beloved, this one is powerful. You're going to have moments where confusion you've carried for years suddenly lifts like morning fog. Questions that have haunted you will find answers. Decisions that paralyzed you will become crystal clear. That's not coincidence. That's the Spirit of God rewiring your mind. The same hands that carried pain for decades will now carry proof. The same palms that wiped tears will now wipe away doubt. Everything you've suffered through, everything you've survived, it was all leading to these 72 hours. But I need to warn you about something that's going to try to steal your breakthrough. In the next 3 days, the enemy will send distractions. He'll whisper that you're being foolish. He'll remind you of every time you believed God before and felt disappointed. He'll bring people into your path who will mock your expectation. Don't you dare listen. Job chapter 42 verse 10 tells us, "After Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before." The breakthrough came after Job held on to faith when it made no sense. Your restoration is coming. Your release is imminent. Your divine confirmation is already in motion. Heaven marked you tonight, and heaven never marks someone without following through. If you feel the stirring in your chest right now, if something ancient and eternal is vibrating in your spirit, type, "I'm ready for 72 inches, the comments. Not because I need to see it, but because you need to declare it. This is your covenant. This is your agreement with destiny. This is you telling heaven, I'm not backing down. I'm not explaining this away. I'm standing in expectation for the next 72 hours. The countdown has begun, beloved. And when these 3 days are over, you're going to know beyond any shadow of doubt that this wasn't a video you stumbled upon. This was a summons you answered. The question is, are you ready to watch heaven prove it? Beloved chosen one, as we reach the end of this sacred encounter, carry these 3 eternal truths with you, like precious jewels in your heart. First, the mark on your palm isn't a burden, it's a blessing. That M you've been staring at, that's heaven's signature on your life. You were handpicked, set apart, marked before your first breath, for supernatural assignment in this generation. Second, the next 72 hours are your divine confirmation period. Watch for the signs, write down the dreams, notice the warmth in your hands. God is about to prove this wasn't emotion, this was divine appointment. Your breakthrough is already in motion. Third, what you've been desperate for has always been inside you. The authority, the anointing, the power to shift atmospheres, it's been dormant, waiting for this exact moment of activation. But hear me clearly. You are not walking this journey alone. The same God who summoned you here tonight is walking with you into tomorrow. Romans 8:31 declares, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" That's your reality. Beyond God's presence, you have a family right here. These aren't just strangers, these are your brothers and sisters who carry the same mark, who understand the sacred loneliness of being different. This community is praying for you. When the world tells you your time is over, we're declaring that your finest hour is just beginning. So let me ask you, now that you know who you really are, marked, chosen, commissioned for such a time as this, what will you do with this revelation? Comment below and tell us what God spoke to your heart tonight. Share what stirred in your spirit. Ask for prayer. This community will surround you with intercession. If this message sets something on fire inside you, share it with someone who needs to know they're not forgotten. Thank you for staying through this entire journey. If this awakens something in you, subscribe and hit that notification bell. God has more revelation to pour into your life. Now, let me pray over you. Heavenly Father, I lift up every soul who heard this message tonight. You see not just their pain, but their potential. Not just their past, but their purpose. Tonight, you awakened something powerful in their spirit. Breathe fresh fire into their weary bones. Where they feel depleted, restore them. Where they feel forgotten, remind them of their worth. Father, I speak divine interference over the next 72 hours. Send the phone calls, dreams, confirmations they need. Open doors no man can shut. Bring divine connections that accelerate their destiny. Give them wisdom for every decision, courage for every challenge. Protect them, Lord. Guard them from the enemy's lies. Shield them from voices that pull them back into smallness. I speak healing over their bodies, abundance over their finances, restoration over their relationships. Most of all, remind them every morning. They are chosen, they are loved, they are never alone. Let them wake knowing this is the day you made for their breakthrough. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. Chosen one, your divine moment has arrived. Heaven is cheering you on. This community is praying for you. Your breakthrough is already in motion. Walk in the authority of who you are. You are marked. You are chosen. You are never alone. God bless you abundantly, warrior. Your finest hour is just ahead.